Gentlemen, we've got a fine show for you tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the top of the order queue there. You aren't going to believe.
The following program is brought to you in living color.
Turn around to your right. I don't want to go into the spot.
What's up, guys and girls? How the blooming devil are ya? It's Friday. It's Friday Night Live. And you join me here on this wonderful evening with the mad professor of the Friday Night Show, me. We didn't have the cheer on the intro, but never mind. It's Friday, and if you sat in front of your screens and you're watching, that working week is behind us and the weekend is just on the horizon. So fortunately for some of us, I imagine you're still at work, maybe plumbing, hard grafting, or doing whatever it is you do to get through the rest of your working day and get into that weekend feeling. But we are here now, and we hope to provide you with a little bit of sense of tuning out from the madness, but tuning into the true madness that is the Friday Night Live show. How are you all? I hope you've had a fantastic week so far. I hope Friday is not stressing you out or bringing you too much woe. And as you're here, I just want to say thank you for joining us for yet again another show. And if my brain serves me correct, I think it's like the 22nd. The 22nd. Probably wrong. Any of you lot seeing on the live, you'll be able to see what number this is. That's a lot of goddamn Friday Night Live shows. Can you imagine? You lot have tuned in and listened to me waffle all that amount of times. Absolutely, first Friday night salute goes to you wonderful people that tune into these lives or tune into these shows after the event and support what we do here, what I do here, because there's only me. There ain't nobody else, man. And if you've paid attention to the outro, you'll have also seen that, yeah, stunts, coordination, makeup, key grip, it's all me, baby. So yeah. But it is not made without you lovely people tuning in and adding that little je ne sais quoi to the Friday night show. So yes, Friday night salute goes to you lot. And as always, I will say this, and I will say this only once. I will try my very best to keep an eye on the live chats. Unfortunately, as much as I try to keep focused on it while the show is going, sometimes the excitement just gets too much. And I can't handle it, and I can't do two things at once, especially not when there's coffee in front of me one side, a camera doing something, and then all you guys just blowing up the chats. Sometimes it's actually kind of hard to keep up with it, and 9 times out of 10 I'll miss all the good bits and then just be sidetracked by a random comment and not be able to make hide or ear of it and just be like, ugh. However, I do go back after the show and look through all of the comments. I've let myself down because there were some fabulous comments last week and I was going to bring them up in tonight's show, but Friday has just run away with it. I don't know where it's gone. It's already 5-6 minutes to 11 here in the UK, and yeah, let the side down. However, you lovely people did leave some fabulous comments in the live chat last week, and let's just say after the show I was laughing out loud, shall we say, even though poor Andrea was in bed. I'm sure she probably heard me, because yes, the abuse for the glasses continues, which is a beautiful thing, but there was just some awesome comments in there in relation to the stories and articles that were in the news last week. So great to see some familiar faces. As ever, the beautiful, wonderful Mr. Coffee Guy is here. So let's see if we can give him a little something, because I know he's had a little bit of a stressful day. You know it, dude. So if you'll see it in tomorrow's vlog, I was fortunate enough for his LPG gas container, whatever that runs his coffee machine, to hook me up with my Friday double espresso and mocha. And basically it pretty much gave up the ghost, dude. So I hope you've got that sorted. I hope Friday's treated you a little bit better than it was the last time we spoke. On top of that, we obviously have the legendary Davu San. We have Dan Cov in the lives, and the one and only Mr. Cockney Buddha. So if there are any other people out watching that can't comment, because I know this seems to be an issue, all working, dude. That is a very good thing, as I was getting a little bit worried earlier, dude, that I wasn't going to see you Monday. And let's just say, Mondays without coffee, it's just, yeah. So, winning to hear that you're good. And Dan, I hope you're working hard while tuned into the show, obviously. I am sure you are. And yeah, if you are watching currently live, or if you are watching after the fact, if you want to get into the live chats, just swipe left on the comments and it will show you the live chat as it happened. But don't worry, you haven't missed out. If you leave comments, I will try to reply to them. I pretty much reply to everything. So yeah, if there's questions, anything you want to ask, fire it in the comments below on the videos. And the one thing that every awful YouTuber has to say is, don't forget to like this video, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and then you will not be able to escape me, and I will be able to track you down and take all of your children's inheritance. No, that's not entirely actually how it works. Subscription is fully free on here on YouTube. However, it does make the video a little bit more recognized by the wonderful conglomerate, the powers that be, the beautiful YouTube, that we are here broadcasting to many corners of the globe. Because I know that there's a few viewers that do tune in on quite a regular basis that, let's just say, are on the other side of the planet. So, hey man, we got to give a little bit of a shout out to YouTube for that. And as a call to action goes, as I say, I don't particularly like saying it, but yeah, don't forget to hit the smash and do and all that gizmos, because yeah, basically it helps the channel grow. Apart from that, let's just say there has been some growth in the Grom's week. My, oh my, has he been focused in on yet more of that wonderful Alan Watts. I've been listening to even more lectures than I had done last week. Just been going deep into the rabbit hole that is Buddhism and Taoism and all of the other kind of isms along the way. And do you know what? I'm not going to go deep into it. I'm not going to force it upon you. But I will say this. It's really changed my mindset quite dramatically. It's changed my outlook on things. It's changed the way that I handle things. How long that will last, I do not know. Let's just say I hope this positive kind of shift in my mindset loiters around for many months, years to come, because I kind of like it. It's a good vibe. And you know what? One of the things, and I don't know if I mentioned it on last Friday night's live, but I know I mentioned it in the vlog, and that was, a wise man does not need to prove his point, but a man that needs to prove his point is not wise. Something like that. That has burnt an everlasting impression in my head where, do you know one thing? Sometimes you just don't actually need to, you don't need to say nothing. Obviously, a little bit different on a Friday night live show, because if I was sat here and didn't say anything, you'd probably tune out and go and do something better. So don't go tuning out. But I see some comments and some hearts and some things going out the corner of my eye. So appreciate the hell out of that, guys. Hitting love buttons and little party confetti things. It's fucking awesome. So you're absolute legends. Have you got coffee poured out, or at least a beverage of some sort? Because I hope you're tuned in. I hope you're ready. I hope you're excited. Because we've obviously got the best and most thorough news coming your way very shortly. But and again though, I know the abuse is going to kick off and I can't wait. I will say this though, in coming weeks I am working on getting even bigger glasses. You heard it here first. Just you wait. We might have to get a wider lens, that's all I'm saying. But I hope you've got some beverages lined up, some snacks beside you, maybe even a loved one. I hope you're tuned in and ready for what is going to be a monumental show. It will be in my books anyway. But without further ado, something like that, you know what time it is. Let's see if we can be super pro. I say it every week. One of these days I'll get it right. This is Friday night. It's 3 minutes to 11 and this is your Friday night news. Something like that. Right. This week, I hope I've got my notes in order. I don't think I bloody well have. Right. No shit, Sherlock. Man, I've been waiting for all these puns to come out this week. So, if you're not familiar with this news article, this is some crazy shit, dude. Right. An Italian province orders DNA tests for all dogs to trace and find owners in a poo crackdown. Yeah, you heard it here first. Friday Night Live News gives you the best information you will find ever. Around a quarter of the region's estimated 40,000 dogs have already been registered, and once up and running, abandoned poo will be genetically tested, traced back to the dog and its owner found. Dog owners in an Italian province are being forced to provide a sample of their pet's DNA as officials try to tackle the scourge of dog mess on the streets. Yeah. Basically, this town, they're going to collect over 40,000 DNA samples to build a database. And around 10,000 have already been registered. Once up and running, the plan means abandoned poo will genetically be tested, traced back to the dog, and the owner will be fined between 50 and 500 euros. So it's about 42 quid to about 430 pounds. All I'm saying is that is some gnarly shit, dude. Yeah, you know it. Right, so coming back down to Earth, but kind of beaming out to, you know, the furthest fringes of the galaxy, because we like to bring you some, you know, out there shit. Dude, I really can't not help these out there shit puns. Yeah. Anyway, a new and unknown object in the Milky Way that is heavier than the heaviest neutron stars known to scientists and yet lighter than the lightest known black holes has been discovered by astronomers. It's pretty gnarly. Researchers from a number of institutions, including the University of Manchester and the Max Planck Institute for Radio Astronomy in Germany, found the object in orbit around a millisecond pulsar 40,000 light years away in a dense group of stars known as the globular cluster. Has the boy been on some elocution lessons and some pronunciation and reading skills? Yeah, that's all I'm saying. While the team cannot conclusively say whether they have discovered the most massive neutron star to date, the lightest black hole, or even some new exotic star variant, they have uncovered something that will help to probe the properties of matter under the most extreme conditions in the universe. If you don't fire those buttons up, man, I just got through that. That was some tongue twister stuff. And it's legit. So they basically, observers have discovered this quite monumental discovery within the Milky Way. So I would definitely go and read the articles further. I want to say I found this on like Science Lab or something. And yeah, some of the pictures, and I want to say there's a little video and some stuff from NASA or one of the Hubbles. There's some really cool stuff on this. And if you're into that sort of thing, I'd go check it out. If you know, you know. Depending on wherever it is that you live currently, I know some people are suffering some absolute monumentally low temperatures. I've heard of it going down to minus 25 in Russia, where a gentleman managed to complete a marathon in minus 25 in under however many minutes, which was kind of dude, just doing it at minus 25 is completely mental. And I know definitely I know a few states in the US have been having some kind of chronic weather this past week. The UK has been hit with some extremely low temperatures. I know in my area alone, I think on like Wednesday, the morning's temperature was like -7, which I know in the extremes of -25 and running a marathon don't really hit the grade. But nevertheless, for the old Brits, it was cold. However, this is possibly just taking things that little bit too far. Domino's creates bizarre heat suit out of unexpected material as Brits feel the chill. Domino's has created a wearable heat suit made out of pizza box insulation technology. Yeah, it's true. This bizarre blue and red suit may look like something from NASA, but it's really designed to keep you warm here on Earth. It's been made from the same maximum hyper insulation materials used by its delivery drivers to keep pizzas warm en route, and now it's wearable. Design and production has taken months, with the outer fabric made from nylon and poly cotton lining matching the heat bag that basically these guys carry their pizzas around in. The heat suit is also equipped with a handy mobile phone arm holder, a front pouch for stashing away dip pots, and napkin knee inserts. Yes, it comes after research of 2,000 adults found 53% claim that they can't function in the cold, and 72% hate or don't like feeling or being chilly. Now, let's just say this. If any of you have had a Domino's pizza delivered in one of these bags, it turns up like lukewarm and sweaty. So if you want one of these suits to keep you lukewarm and sweaty in the cold temperatures, I recommend you go hit up Domino's and tell them that 30-year-old Grom sent you. But apart from that, I ain't gonna lie. If they took that amount of time to invest in building a goddamn warm suit for people that are whinging about -7, there are better things, Domino's, you could be doing with your time and your money. But nevertheless, that was Friday. That was the Friday Night Live news. Let's get back to the show.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You are now tuned in to Friday Night Live with the Grom.
That was a Friday Night Live news, guys and girls, and I'll tell you one thing. Didn't he do well? Didn't I get through the old news a little bit clean there with some of those words and some of those terminologies? Yeah, it means nothing. I just read words out. I hope they mean things to you. Little bit shocked though about the amazing DNA tests. Again, kind of tying in with my last thing that I was saying in regards to the Domino's heat suit. Let's just say, I hate to say it, but surely is there not better things you could be doing currently in the world when, let's just say, I don't know, a little bit of global warming, and I think people need to be a little bit more loving and like chill out a bit. Maybe Domino's need to send out free pizzas to everyone. That could be quite a heavy claim. But making heat suits for people whinging about -7, I don't know. I don't want to get on a high horse here or maybe upset anybody, but I'm just saying, come on, Domino's. Let's, change the game. Anyway, leaving that slight negativity behind, let's move into some PMA. Let's turn to some positivity, some awesomeness, and let me introduce you to tonight's guest. Some of you may know him, some of you might not. I do, and now I want you to get to know him. So, with no further ado, let me introduce to you tonight's guest, who I'm very excited to have on. The one and only, the legendary, the Mr. Cockney Buddha. How the bloody hell are you, mate?
I'm good, matey. Good.
Yeah?
Dude. Thanks. Yeah.
You
My old
finally
art's
made it,
got to slow
dude.
down. The old art's got to slow down a little bit, matey.
Don't worry about it, man. Break out some coffee, sit back, and let me therapeutize you. Because I'm feeling like, it should only be fair, really. Because obviously, for some viewers, they might not be aware of the amazing live that we've done.
Man, oh man, matey. I actually spoke to my wife about that today. And it went on a bit, didn't it? But holy shit, man. It was good.
Let's just say, like, if there are people watching now that aren't familiar with Cockney Buddha, I'll give you a little bit of my take on this guy, and then I would like you yourself to just like give us the credentials, because obviously from my point of view, dude, obviously we've been talking now probably 2 years or something. And it's one of those things where, yeah, if anybody watching hasn't watched the live and you want to see like a marathon live, I think we talked shit for like 3 hours or more.
It was 4 hours or something. It was just over 4 hours because I can't stop when you sometimes you call me off the cuff and we just get into these freaking mind-bending look at things, and it just puts me in a different. When I can feed off of that, I'm like one of those like leeches, matey. It's like game on, and I just start lapping it up. Yeah.
But so for viewers that are possibly watching this now, or maybe even after the event, what is it? What do you do? What do you bring to the table, Mr. Steve?
I mean, I was never spiritual. I was that geezer, living in London, got the attitude problem, walking around, didn't want to know anybody and all that shit. And then I just, cutting a very, very long story short, because I'm sure I'm going to get hammered because of the live I did with you. And I did mention it to my wife. I'm like, I've got a feeling I'm going to get stung. So cutting a very long story short, mental health, crazy, bad anxiety, bad depression, and just started, getting into those areas where it was getting a bit naughty. And, I went to that suicidal thinking side and then met my therapist, and then it just went because the journey started. And then I started getting into Buddhism and Taoism, because you've mentioned that, Taoism, and, Hindu, and whatever started talking to me, I just started grabbing hold of it. And then, cutting a very long story short again, I just started getting into knowing I could help people. And then it just, it's an absolute blessing that I get to do what I do. It really is, because it's when you can see yourself in somebody and then you can change that because you can get there and you can just shift that.
So again, am I right in saying that you are actually like now, did you get you're like certificated now, are you not?
Yeah, I've got a certification. Yeah, I mean, I ain't got like degrees.
Let's just get this for the old record, that you are actually a certified therapist, and also
counsellor. They call me a counsellor. But
right, okay, and also you are a Cockney that lives in Florida.
Yeah, well, the true meaning of Cockney, you wouldn't, it's like Chaz and Dave. Everybody thought they was Cockneys. I find out they were born in North London. They're not Cockneys, right? So, I was like right on the other side of the water, in southeast London. So it was literally right across. I used to go into the East End and that, where you're a true Cockney. But I've hung out with the best of them, and we're good. You know what I mean? So my old man talk like I do, and he was brought up all over the place, and then it just went from there. My family originate from Greenwich, it's the old Greenwich, not the Greenwich now, like where you could afford the houses, right?
Yeah, because I think, isn't it? And I never remember the saying, but it's the old song, isn't it? If you can hear one of the church bells,
the bow bells, the bow bells.
The bow bells. If you can hear the bow bells, that's what classes you a Cockney, is it not? If you're
that's what they say. Yeah, but if you go down to Margate, shit, they're down in Margate, and that's in Kent, right? So I mean, you know, when you look at the way London started spreading outwards and splitting up, and you know, going to different countries and different areas, and it you know, some of it got watered down. And if you look at the East End now, even it's because the accents, you know, it's kind of watered down. There's new slang now I don't even understand. So shit, and yeah.
No, but I love it because I'm not gonna lie, dude. Like you've done 28 years, I think it is, in Florida.
30 years this year.
Dude, and I've got to give you full like Friday night salute for rolling on to the origins of the accent, because every week when you put out a Friday vlog, and again for the video for the viewers that have not actually come across Cockney Buddha, he does own a YouTube channel, and he puts out a video on a Friday, which is usually, dude, man, like I'm not gonna lie, they've touched on some heavy moments over the. How long you been doing those now, dude?
Oh shit, mate, you got me into it. So
Yeah,
I mean,
you've
you
been
know,
going for what? A year?
Uh,
Got to be
it's
more.
got to be about a year and a half, maybe. I think I've known you a couple of years, yeah. And then you were saying to me, just do it, because we got chatting, you know, because I sent that message to you on YouTube, and all of a sudden there's someone that I'm following answering me. It was like, oh, shit. That's why my heart's going like the clappers being on here, mate, because I'm like, oh god, this is Grom, right? But yeah, dude, it's and I can't remember where my train of thought was now. I've lost my train of thought.
But well, I was gonna say, because every video, man, where you're like, all right, guys, up and at 'em. I'm just out on me walk. And I love it. Every time you hit that little number where you're like, I'm just out on me walk.
I appreciate it.
And I'm like,
man.
dude, there's something about that opener. There's people on YouTube that, like, you know, I'm pretty much sure there'll be people out there that have people write their, like, opening. You know, there's people that script stuff, dude.
Yeah.
And another thing that obviously you have continued to do ever since the outset is, like, you don't script anything. You kind of pick your phone up, go for a walk, and you just put it out there, dude. And some of the topics, and it obviously shows, one, how much reading and how much you've put yourself into your journey.
Yeah.
But it also shows how much work and time you've spent dealing with, obviously, as you call them, your guys.
Yeah.
Because when you pull that phone out and you start talking about a topic like, and again, I'm on the spot now, but self-saboteur, or how to use your tools in relation to breathing techniques, getting over your bumps, all of these little things.
Right.
And, dude, you just get that phone out and just go with it.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's down to you, because I'm thinking I've got to have all this, you know, fancy shit and freaking, like, you know, and I'm saying to you, because I used to be deathly afraid of the phone, right? You know, that's how bad my anxiety was. The phone would ring and I'd freaking go into panic. I mean, it was crazy, even when I knew who was on the other end, right? So for you to go, hey, just grab your phone and just, why aren't you using your phone? I'm like, oh, what? Sweaty palms, you know? So I just started out like that, and it grew into this. I'd rather it be raw, you know. Don't get me wrong. There's been many times when I'm on that walk and I've gone 6 times. Like, I'll get halfway through, stop me and go, I don't like that. Like, the message ain't right, or I forgot something, and I'll just stop it and just restart. But I want it. I don't want it. Now, I'll probably get into some editing, but right now, that rawness. You know, I think people will, it's more connected with mine because you can't make it up.
Yeah, dude.
Right.
The other thing is as well, like, there's that sort of catch, isn't there, where sometimes doing something in a take or more than one take takes away from the overall message. Like, don't get me wrong, you can get to a point where you've refined what you want to say, almost. Because I can imagine, and like, fair enough, I've videoed a fair couple of hours of footage now. And sometimes you can just, like, your brain is running at 100,000 miles an hour. You'll pick that camera up and you go to say this amazing, like, you know, Orson Welles like speech, yeah, and you just go,
yeah. I know
well,
exactly
you
where
get
you're
the
at.
first
I've done
two
it.
words out and then get the next ones back to front, and you're like,
Yeah. No, I hear you, mate. You know, don't get me wrong. I've done that. You know, I did. I think today's one, I think I did like 2 or 3 times because I was, it's a pity you don't see it because I'd actually cut. I kind of thought, oh, I've already gone around the circle because it's that timing thing, right? I started in the same area pretty much, and I do the same kind of thing, and it was kind of weird because I got halfway around a circle, forgot where I was going with it, and then had to stop it, and then I'm thinking, do I walk back around the circle? And I'm like, no, don't be a numpty. Just just keep going. You got,
dude.
but that like, yeah. So I know what you mean.
Yeah, it's crazy because again, I used to suffer the same thing many moons ago, with trying to record. So let's just say Eminem might have a few lyrics on me. I ain't got that sort of skills. But back in the day when I was a youngster and I thought I was going to be the next superstar, same thing, dude. When there's no microphone, no pressure, no qualms, I wasn't anything special, but I could stand my ground with a couple of friends while having a laugh.
Right.
Dude, man, you push play on that record on the tape deck, game over, boys.
Yeah. It's weird, right? It's
Well,
a
this
really
is
weird,
what
it's a weird feeling.
leads me to my next little bit that I want to ask you about, and also more so, dude, to kind of promote for you, and that is the podcast that you're currently doing, because
Right.
dude, man, it was a shame. I ended up with the same situation with you this week, like I did when I interviewed Bus for the first time. So I'd planned a load of stuff for a show, and then kind of things changed up, and then it was like everything was delayed by a week, and it just threw things out of kilter. Last week, man, I absolutely binged your podcast because I'm sorry, dude. I was a busy little beaver, and I hadn't had
Man.
much time to actually sit down and give it
Sweet.
like its due. Like I wanted to sit and just be like all in.
Yeah.
And last week, man, I binged them all, and obviously we'd spoke after, but I really wanted to have you
man.
on and go through it in real depth.
Yeah.
But I know because obviously the first one hit hard, dude.
What the very first podcast I did?
Yeah.
And again, it was me in that first one. I've polished it up a little bit even since then. I'm getting some sounds in and shit like that, like in the background and that. But again, it's that very first one, dude, and just like you say, freaking, I had a subject in my mind, but I don't know where I'm going with it. So when I hit that record button, it's like, oh shit, this is a completely different experience. You know what I mean? So that
like,
first
I'm
one.
sat here smiling about it, and it's gnarly because obviously the topic itself being like body shaming, and the way that obviously I don't want to spoil it for anybody that hasn't caught that episode because I kind of want you guys to go out and after the live, I'm going to put all of the links for this guy's like Instagram, Linktree, YouTube. And again, you'll be able to go out and find all of the podcasts that I've listened to because you're on like Spotify and all sorts.
Across the board, matey. Yeah, across the board. I think they're changing Google. I heard that there's something to do with Google. I got some email apparently now, and I'm going to be carrying podcast or something now. I don't know how true that is. If anybody knows, they throw it up there because I heard about it today. I got an email. So yeah, I don't know how long Google is going to be going for, but
but obviously, like the link that we'll share it. I can't remember the name of the actual platform. You might be able to help me, dude. But obviously, I didn't have to sign up to any like user profile or make any accounts. I just managed to go straight via your Linktree find your podcasts and just tune in, dude.
That's it. That's
And,
it, mate. Because
like
I think
I
it's got
say-
the actual web, isn't it? I think it's got like the podcast host like website, right? Yeah, sweet.
Yeah,
That's
dude.
the one.
And it
Yeah,
was
man.
like, again, so many people take it that I'm like really techie. I'm not. If you can send me something so I can just push a button and it takes me there and I can just plug headphones, I'm done. Like, I'm good.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. I'm the same.
dude, I listened through that first episode, and then I can't quite remember to detail. I know that it was obviously because you started up just before Christmas, right?
Yeah, it was actually in December, I think. I threw that first one down. I think it was like on the 9th or something. It was like early December, I think. Something like that. And then I just caught that bug, dude. That was it. It was, that first one I got out of the way, and I'm learning as I go along. And I've had your help. We had that great conversation around sound that night, when you called me, because I couldn't get it working somewhere, and I'm totally trying to avoid getting my wife involved because she's the techie computer. It ain't me at all. I don't know what I'm doing, right? But thankfully, I've got people like yourself that are there that I can go, hey, listen.
Well, dude, I don't like cutting in over you, but I've got to say this right now, man. Like, I told you a couple of little things, and then lo and behold, like for me, it must have been like 6 weeks later, I finally get to like, I'd listened to the first episode when you dropped it, then got distracted or whatever and was like, I don't want to listen to this in bits. I want to listen to this in its entirety.
Yeah, nice.
Then last week I was like, right, start it from the beginning, go through them all. And dude, like I think by the fourth episode or something, like, and it's a shame if I hadn't listened to them before the show because I had like dude, you've got an opening theme now. Yeah, there's that one beat that you played, and it got lodged in my head. And then like the tunes coming in, and like I didn't teach you none of this, dude. I didn't tell you none of this, and I love the fact that like every time I listen to it, there's this like little bit of me that has to chuckle because sometimes that "Hey guys" comes in over the tune and that. And I'm all like waiting for you to be like, yeah, contact us on 077597. Give a shout out to me, mate Dave. Get your car out of the car parking lot. Yes, my DJ, let's throw another fat one, right? You know what I mean? And like just cruise into another tune. But obviously it comes a bit somber and we get into some heavy discussions, man. And I'm like, what the hell? Like you're... Like, I don't want to blow smoke up your ass, dude, but the production on it is sounding already, and like, I think I tried to count earlier. I think you've got like 9 episodes.
Oh, I don't even know, matey.
I
just bunged that.
Your latest one, which had me in stitches, dude, which was the leaf blower.
Oh, yeah. I think I've got another one on top of that one. I'm not sure.
Yeah, because I want to say you said yesterday it went out.
I think so. It was either yesterday or the day before because I don't remember doing it yesterday. I think I did it Thursday or something.
Right.
If I
okay.
remember right. But yeah, the leaf blower. Yeah, and it's why I like it the way I'm doing it because that story literally happened, right? It literally. And where I'm getting more in tune with my mind and how it all works and how we think and how you can go a wrong direction, like real quick, right? That I was going that way. I was starting to get annoyed. I fucking pulled cord pulled out and I'm not Mr. Fix It, matey, right? My wife even leaves me alone. If there's something to drill, she'll do it. Right. But yeah, dude, that whole podcasting game is really, I'm enjoying it. I don't want to go like rambling, but yeah, I enjoy it, dude. I really do.
Nah, dude, and I'm kind of loving it as well because that comes through. Like I don't want to give too much away because I want people to get really like intrigued and go and investigate themselves because. I just want to touch on, because I've been meaning to say it to you for ages and I thought, well, why no better time than now. And that was just that, yeah, dude. The tune selection already is amazing, and like, I just love the feel, the vibe, the overall production. And the other thing is just one thing I've got to give you props for, dude, is the fact that there ain't no topic yet that you haven't gone into real openly and honestly.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't say that there's almost like an empathy on a level that I don't even know how to explain into words. I hope people go and just check it out, and that they'll know what I'm on about. Because you'll start talking about something, i.e. this bloody leaf blower. Yeah? And it's all kind of like, I was sat there and I'm at work and I've got my headphones in and I'm grafting away. And there's a bit of me, the minute you said like you took like the outer casing off and whatever, and you're kind of looking at it thinking like, this thing's going across the street in a minute.
Yeah.
And I'm sat there and I'm like, there's like some relation. I'm already thinking, in my head, I'm thinking, go get a hammer. And if that don't work, get a bigger one. Right? And I'm sat there and it's like, the minute you turned round and went, I'm just going to get a broom. I was like, yeah, talk about change the game up, man. Like, we ain't dominoes in it. We ain't going to go and make a bloody heat suit out of recycled pizza boxes here, right?
What's that, dude?
We're just going to go and get a broom.
Right.
And I was sat there like, hang on a second. And especially with a lot of the stuff that I've obviously been tuned into over the last couple of weeks. It was one of them moments where you were like, yeah, dude. And you said it. Within seconds, you've got this opportunity to like completely unleash the beast. It will not get you very far. It's going to annihilate the leaf blower. You won't think about the broom because all you'll be doing is having a Tasmanian devil moment in the garage.
Oh, dude, mate. Yeah.
And then you won't even do what you set out to do, and you'll be in the house, and it's like fail after fail after fail.
So that's it. Gets going, mate.
And like again, where you just took that and was like, I just got the broom.
Yeah.
And like you got a bit of exercise. And I was really happy with my job. It weren't perfect, but nothing is, you know?
Brilliant, mate. Brilliant.
And again, like, there's this real beauty in that, dude. And I know you've said many times to me, like, don't lose where you start. And obviously, probably already, dude, in your journey of like videoing, I imagine you've already felt the progression in the podcast. I hope you felt the progression in your videos. But there's this really kind of interesting, it grows, I think, with anything.
What do you mean?
Like,
What do you mean? Explain that. What do you mean
so
it grows? That's interesting.
in this, like, and I don't want to get all like out there already, you know, we've only been talking
that's
a
what we're
bit.
here for, mate.
But
Shit.
like, it's something that I've noticed in this creative thing, yeah? Sticking to a value is one thing.
For sure.
However, there's so many things in this world that we assemble or disassemble, like your leaf blower, right?
Yeah.
And we have this tendency, especially in our part of the world, to say we'll disassemble something to find out how it works. Yeah. Now, when we're dealing with something, it's funny because these words I've been bantering around for ages, but it's only off the back of what I've been listening to recently, where these little tiny droplets of like, I don't know, man. There's a big picture I'm reeling in front of me, and I haven't got quite all the pieces to the puzzle yet. But that's the beauty of the journey, dude. But all of these tiny little bits, like, I've always wanted to do what I do to keep organic. I want it to be organic. Yeah.
Sure.
Now, if we look at anything organic on this planet, it doesn't build itself piece by piece.
Right.
has a multitude of different things happening all simultaneously.
Yeah, but it just is. It's a whole. It's like there's no effort.
Yeah.
You know, when you hit it, you know, because I was on my phone list, you know, watching you. It was weird watching you on here, matey, in the glasses, picking the glasses up. I thought, here comes the crane, right? But I, you know, the where was I talking? Where was I at? Because my mind's racing like crazy right now. Look at those things. Look at them. Mate, you just done my head in.
You gotta love it.
It was really funny sitting here watching that in the bloody background, matey. Now you've really thrown my head off. Where was I with that? Where I was talking at? Because I've lost my place. You're terrible, Grommy. Unbelievable. You're unbelievable.
Oh, just got to scream out. So the legendary Mr. Tom has joined us in the live. And also none other than Mr. Uncle Billy himself.
All right.
Dropping in, brothers. You
Nice
guys
one.
look handsome with glasses.
Oh, that's what I was talking about. The hole, yeah.
Yeah, dude. This organic growth thing.
Right. Yeah, it's like with yourself, right? The whole reason I don't even know how I found you. I have got no bloody idea. But it spoke. It was like raw. It was there. It was like the norm. It was someone living a life, and you don't have to try, right? You don't have to. When something like you say is organic, you know, I look at something organic as a title. It's like a label, organic, right? Because there's so many different pieces in that organic, right? So when you got something right, I call that organic, which I think is where you're going with that, right? Because I honestly, now I've got over the fear of throwing that video in my face. It's organic. I'm not trying to prove anything. I'm not trying to pretend I don't know, because if I don't know, I say I don't know, right? You know, and I'm not, the shit I talk about, I live it. So it's organic. You don't have to try it. You know, there's none of that. And it's the same with the podcasting, man. It's just, I just want it organic. I just want it. I want people to be able to connect in a different way as how I like teach, because the way I'll teach somebody, or the way I guide somebody that comes and sits in front of me, you know, a big part of it, yeah, of course, is counselling and a lot of it with the mind. But where I've studied so much of it, and it's become this whole organic thing. You know, I mean, it's my hobby and my work and everything. Connection with you guys, right? It just happens. It just, you know, and that's how I teach. It's this organic. I bring everything into it, and it's about shifting your life completely. It's not just your mind. It's follow this. What do you want? Let's go, right? Where I was never like that. I was that person like, oh shit, you know, getting the warnings and not wanting to go there, and then you're not organic. It's right. So yeah, keep doing what you're doing, Grommy, because I'll tell you what, mate, I won't be doing this right now if it weren't for you putting me on paths, mate. And because I would not have picked that phone up and thought about walking down the street, because you told me that. You was like, just walk down the street, you know. And I'm like, oh, okay. So yeah, that first video that I did, I watched that the other day. It's weird watching back, right? You know, because you was telling me about that, and I looked back at it and I could remember it, right? And I'm like, holy shit, wow! And I've gone from like 4 minutes to like 12. All right.
See,
yeah.
I went the completely opposite way. I was like, dude, when I first started vlogging, right, I didn't have a clue. I don't know nothing, right? And like I just started videoing my life, didn't I? In its entirety.
Yeah, dude. But you know what? It's like I said to you, you know, right before you did the, you know, graciously did the live with me, where you said, I'm an open book, but I don't think you've expected like cannon fire.
Let's just say, man, even one day I'll have a conversation with you about the hurricane, the turmoil that video sparked me into, dude.
Yeah, yeah. I remember you getting hold of me because I wanted to know you was all right. Because I know because
Just
you
like
said
that,
to
mate.
me, yeah, dude, and I knew it had happened. I was like, oh shit, we're hitting some
Dude, it's
nerves.
when I've got mates of mine being like, I don't know, 3 hours 59 minutes or 4 hours
Yeah,
in, where they're like, I can't believe you said that on a live.
yeah. Dude, freaking Dave was there, right? And he was like, every time I look around, Dave was on, and I'm like, holy shit, this guy.
Yeah, dude. I had a couple of people that I work with, apart from Dave, but like they were just like, we can't believe you said it. We can't believe you were that honest, and we can't believe that you've done all of that on a live video to the world.
Yeah, dude.
And like
Yeah,
I
you
said to you
did.
beforehand, I was like, dude, man, I'm sorry, but what I am in my vlogs is what I am.
Yeah,
And so you want to start asking me questions, I'll answer them. And
yeah.
like,
And then I went into, right, because you told me about your old ones, which I hadn't even gone. I knew you. I started watching you, 2 years ago, right? So I know it
yeah,
was
dude.
during COVID or whatever. That word. And the whatever you call it, that word, the C word, right? And I just started watching you from there. So when we was going to decide to do that live, right? I wanted to know because I started asking you questions on the phone. Remember, I had you on the blower, and I'm saying to you, okay, tell me about what's going on, because you went through that little bit of a period of time where you were like questioning yourself and shit. Remember?
Yeah, dude. Well, if I'm brutally honest, so after that live, it was one of those moments where I kind of just like, okay, well, I've been that honest, like without trying to take it, but for you,
Yeah,
because obviously that's where we wanted to take that. And I had to kind of sit and just think to myself, like, let's be honest with me now. Like,
right,
and I had to do like, I
right.
don't know, man, a little bit of like soul searching, but not in
Yeah,
the words of
it's funny.
things,
That's exactly what I was thinking. Soul searching. Yeah, for sure.
you know? And I had to like line me ducks up a bit and have a
Yeah,
little look about and a reevaluation and kind of then get them in a row, have a look that way, have a look that
yeah,
way,
dude.
walk around the
Yeah,
front of them and be like, and just have a think. But obviously, you've done that and it's like 20 seconds in your life, but obviously in the
yeah,
reality, it's been like
dude. Yeah.
a week and nobody's heard from you.
Yeah, we'll do. We're like freaking zip files, those when you open up a freaking zip file, right? I mean, that's pretty much, we walk around like freaking zip files, and we're loaded with shit,
Yeah, dude.
And if you really want to, when my guys come to me, it's like, okay, you're ready, because it's about starting to sometimes own up to your own shit too, like
Yeah,
where
dude.
you've gone wrong, and apologies, and it's also about looking at the freaking what I call the anchors, like the people that are there, they're always bitching, moaning, whatever the heck, they're going to drag you the wrong way. If every time you're calling that person, it doesn't matter who they are, family member, friend, doesn't matter. If all you hear is just freaking, whiny, whingy, dude, you're going to go that energy is going to go that way. So it doesn't end up well. Right?
I'm just trying to be like a decent YouTuber. Billy's put here,
All right.
Steve, you spoke once or twice about meditation and music. We know Grom loves doing art. What's your thoughts on doing art and what it does for your mind? For me, my art is fixing surfboards.
Right. Now, that's a great question, and it's very big. Organic. Right. It really is. It's big, and it depends. There's different ways you can go with it. Right. Now, there is an actual therapy that uses art. And it's, I forget what it's called. It's you basically, I'll tell you what it is, but you basically,
And it like, sorry, just to cut in, but in it like free painting or something.
yeah, dude. And I've seen it work. You know, and you don't want to confuse the mind. So what you do is you have like 3 or 4 colors. That's it. Kid paint, right? You know, go down your pound shop or whatever, dollar store, get your kid paint, right? You get a big brush, a medium brush, and a little brush, like the Three Bears, right? And you basically just use paper. You don't have to have canvases or anything like that. Watercolor paint, right? And you don't think. And you just, you know, you grab the first brush, whatever color, you bang it in, and you just put the brush on the frickin'. I've done this with a canvas. It's crazy, right? And see what happens. And I've had the pleasure of sitting in on a session with my therapist, learning, you know, and seeing a client do this. And dude, it blows your mind. It blows your mind because we always sit down and have a picture in mind.
Yeah.
Right, we sit and we're like, I want to do a nice landscape, or you put a bowl of fruit over on the side, and you're like, let me draw the bowl of right. You're not sending your mind on opening up. You're not, because it's one way. It knows what it wants to do. You've probably already got the freaking color in mind, everything. Right, the brain starts going like this, as soon as you tell it, I'm going to do a landscape. Oh, right. No, so I can see one, right? But when you go in without thought, you know, and you don't overstimulate the brain as far as your brushes and your paint and all that, you'll be surprised what comes out. And I watched this fella do this painting, and he held it up, and it ain't my client, right? I don't know. It's my therapist client, right? And you know, they were talking and explaining, and then they were explaining to me, and dude, it was freaking weird because it goes to your subconscious at that point. Right. And when you go to that subconscious and you open up, dude, it's going to come down, right, on whatever medium you're using. You know, I know people, my best mate in London, the camera is his art, right? And I watch him, it's organic. It's organic. He gets behind the camera and he's completely a different being, yeah. Right? And I've seen how he works, and I remember him telling me, because he had bad anxiety, right? Started getting into the Buddhism and stuff and following a path, right? Which I want to talk to you about, by the way, because you're live. Because it would really ring bells with me, dude. I'm like, so, you know, he said to me, he goes, as soon as he's behind the camera, and I got another friend, Tracy, same thing. She's a photographer, and they both say the same thing. They get behind the camera, and they can handle like social situations and shit like that, because I have a lot of social anxiety and, you know, stuff like that. So all of a sudden it's like, I'm behind here. And I actually use that as a tool too. There's a tool that I mean, I can share it. It's no big deal, but it literally, I call it the cameraman. Yeah. And it's imagining you're behind a camera. And if you can imagine you tell this you're behind a camera, it'll believe it. Right. So if you're in a situation and maybe kicking off in front of you, you know, it allows you to go into that more spiritual zone. And
it just almost puts a third party perspective to it.
Yeah, it's like stepping out.
Yeah.
Right, because we're so easy to react straight away, the brain, right? I mean, it's going to protect you in whatever way it can. So you see a situation kicking off in front of you, it's going to split seconds. You've had about probably 20,000 thoughts, right? And it, you know, it's all about protecting you. So where are you going to go? Anxiety, shit in your pants, right? You're gonna go there. Your brain's going there because it wants to protect you. But if you can just, okay, I know what that is, and kind of step out and be the cameraman. So,
while you were saying that, my head just tripped out on this like thought, where you're like, you're saying about that and the safety of being behind the camera and using that as a tool. And I'm like, it's crazy, isn't it? Because you stick that person on the other end of that lens, and they're just gonna pieces.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, my brain just for a second there thought like, cameras can be the same sort of, it can have the same devastating property as like a gun can. You get somebody behind a gun and they can feel safe, dude. And that's what you're creating by giving that perception of being behind it. Sure. But you put them in front of it and they fall to pieces, man.
Yeah, well, it's the perception again,
And it's
right?
like, where does that come from, dude? Where does that?
It's all, you know, I mean, you know, if you've got, it's like, I'll give you an example, right? Kind of coming away from the camera, but the same concept, right? Because I can use myself, right? The reason when I went back and I said I was definitely afraid of the phone, right? I've said that many times, phone would ring, fucking panic attack, man. I'd go into one, right? Was no explaining it, didn't know, but I hadn't gone into this journey to find out, right? So when I started going into this journey, and I got with my therapist Judith, who's an absolute freaking diamond, and she's on there, thank you, because she's amazing. She's saved my life, right? So where was I saying? What was I saying? I just went into Judith.
You're just saying like where anxiety, where this stems from.
Yeah, the anxiety over what? What was I talking about with the anxiety?
Well, we were saying about the camera effect, and I was
right, the other side of it, right. So when you're, you know, when you're standing in, all of a sudden you're in front of that lens, right? It's actually taking the object that you see as safety and all of a sudden pointing it at you. So it's like, oh shit, because you go behind the camera for the safety. So you're going to feel there's always opposites.
Yeah.
Right. For you to feel calm behind the camera, you've got to feel the opposite in somehow, right?
That's some like Buddhist balance stuff, dude. That's some yin and yang vibe.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know, I want to go. Enough of me. I want to go and talk about. I want to talk about you and what you, because I thought, wow, you know, when you was on air on live and you started going into, you know, because we've spoke a little bit about a Tao, right? Because I've read it and it's, you know, it's you know, anybody that doesn't know about the Tao Te Ching, go and check it out, right? Because it's a heavy book.
Well,
but
I tell you, like, it's a weird one because again, I would get that book and I would throw that from the goddamn rooftops, right? However, I feel like if I come across, so here's an interesting like little just side tangent. You know how we love them, right?
Yeah.
I got a friend of mine that I went to see last weekend, an amazing guy. I've known him that many years. And basically, it was my best friend's dad. Yeah? Me and my best friend are grown apart. As you do, you get old. He's had families, kids, and done whatever else. But me and his old man, bless him, have always, I think, long story short, his name's Martin, and he can talk the back legs off of a donkey, right? And he's always been outside the box.
Yeah, they're the best.
What can I
like
say?
You.
Yeah?
Right.
You get me and him in the same room together, mate, we're done.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like us too, Grommy. We can't have a straightforward conversation. It just turns into science and freaking
Just
goodness
talking,
knows what.
man. Conversation, you know?
Yeah,
and, The craziest thing was, and he's done this to me a multitude of times over a huge period of years, which is he'll say something to me in passing, or we'll talk some stuff over one evening that we used to play mahjong together.
Oh yeah, shit.
Yeah,
that's heavy, dude.
Yeah,
damn,
dude.
I don't even know how to play that. That's like
in a different life, man. We used to play it every Wednesday, and we did for about 5 years.
Wow, that's ancient
every
too.
Wednesday.
That
yeah, like he was mentioning then about Taoism or the Tao Te Ching, and he'd also moved into. Long story short, at the time he was creating a game that was based on the I Ching.
Wow, shit.
Yeah, and it's funny, isn't it? Wind on like maybe like 15 years. Me going off on me little rabbit holes as I do, come across Alan Watts, he's saying about the Tao Te Ching, and then I Ching.
Right,
So I
right.
have to go and investigate, don't I?
Yeah. You're like me, matey. Yeah.
Big old circle happened. And you're like, bugger
Oh.
me. Point being is, though, you know, I'd been made aware of this, like, let's just say, for argument's sake, 15 years ago. And even though I was in a very, say, spiritual place in my life,
Yeah.
I didn't need to go and investigate. I didn't feel the need to investigate.
Right.
However, you walk a certain journey, didn't you? You beat a certain path,
Sure.
and then
Sure.
before I know it, it's like the book just went under me
Yeah.
nose, and I'm like,
Weird, right?
oh, this is interesting. And so sometimes I feel like you could go and throw that book at someone, and it just wouldn't hit right.
Yeah. Oh no. You gotta have a little bit of, want of that. You know what I mean? If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Right. Because because it goes deep, dude. That's someone that had their head screwed on thousands of years ago. Right.
Yeah,
and
dude.
was already tuning into shit that you take for granted, you don't know. Right. Fucking Mother Nature. When you go out there, it's normal. But it's an amazing thing that you're looking at,
Yeah, dude.
right? And it goes in. It's pretty heavy. I told you about that book, that I got, and it's weird when you said that freaking story just then. I mean, that's what happened to me.
Yeah.
I didn't even know what it was. I had no idea what it was. Right? It was my friend's wife, mum, I believe. Right? That picked this book up. And just gave it to her daughter to give it to me, right? So I go over there to visit, and I'm standing in the kitchen, and she goes, "Oh, me mum picked this up. It was like some market or something, second hand, right? Slid it under me nose,
Yeah.
and I pick it up, and I'm like, the Tao? What's the Tao, right, dude? Because that's why I said to you, get that book that I sent you, right?" The picture of, because when you just read the Tao, it's like trying to read freaking, I don't know, Greek mythology or something, right? In its raw state, I don't know, right? It's just, you can't wrap your head around it, right? Of what is actually being explained here. So that book, the guy, you read the passage, because it's only short, and I think there's like 30, is there 30 of them? I don't know. There's not many. I don't believe. I can't remember, but it's
I
a
don't know.
passage.
Now I want to say in the Tao Te Ching, I think there's getting on for like 50 or 60 pieces.
Oh, okay, I've got you. Yeah, I can't. It was a freaking while ago that I read it. I thought it was 30. Where have I got 30 from? Anyway, but they're all passages.
Yeah.
And it's like I say, it's like trying to read something, and there's messages in there.
Yeah.
But you need someone to unwrap it that knows it. And that book, you will get great enjoyment out of it, I guarantee you.
Yeah, I definitely. I see when you sent me the link earlier, I was like, that's going to be like stashed into the library of things.
Yeah, dude, it's
because,
a given.
I think I was quite fortunate actually. I've been banging the Alan Watts lectures, and wanted to go, and again, he's talking a lot about this book in many of the lectures, and I wanted to just go and check out what was going on. And again, we'd need another 2 hours talking, and I could break you down all of the tiny little segments of pieces that just, for want of a better way, like eureka moments. Yeah, perfect example. I probably pronunciate this wrong. If Davu-san is watching, he'll sort me right out. But a Daruma. So, and again, it's basically Dave had that amazing tattoo on the back of his hand.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So there's me. I'm doing me old bit of like me old Taoism, and I'm getting right into it. Yeah. Thinking I'm real spiritual enlightened. Yeah. And then bugger me if I'd done that. I'd gone back to the Alan Watts, and there's a bit there, and this is another one of those moments that's just stuck with me, where he goes the Bodhirama, yeah, which is like, I think I pronunciated that right. Bodhirama was the Hindu that took Buddhism to China, I want to say.
Okay, got ya. Yeah, yeah.
And he's got this doll on a table and he's knocking it around. It's a kiddie's toy. And it's like,
Yeah.
I don't know what you want to call it. A wibble wobble? A tumble
Oh,
toy?
yeah, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's got this lovely little bell in it. So as he's knocking it, it's going ding-a-ding-a-ding. And it's just like wobbling back upright.
Yeah.
And he goes, this is a depiction of the Bodhirama. Yeah?
Right, keep
And
coming
it,
up. Not about
on a
wobbles.
lot of posters where you see old posters or prints, of him.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's obviously Japanese or Chinese symbols. I want to say it's Chinese symbols down the side, which translated mean down 7 times, up 8.
Wow. Because growth ain't linear. It's like that.
And the other fact that you always get knocked down. So it's
Right.
down 7,
Wow.
down 7 times, up 8 times. Such is life. Is the whole
Yeah,
thing.
dude. Yeah. Yeah,
And
yeah.
he's knocking this thing around on the table, and he's like, "Oh, it's a Bodhirama," and I'm like, "Hang on a second,
Wow.
I've got one of them,"
No shit.
and it's so I've got a coin pot version,
Wow.
and it's the same. I bought this like 2 years ago from a lovely little shop down in Hastings. Shout out
Yeah,
the Clockwork Crow. Get a little
Sweet.
plug in there.
there you go.
Tonight's unofficial official sponsor.
How big did your check come? What's that?
And, I couldn't believe it because obviously, like, I bought one
Yeah.
and it's been sat, and then just another one of those moments, dude, where we gone full circle.
Right.
And bugger me if I'm like not trying to put 2 and 2 together, where I'm like, that looks familiar, and then I got literally got one of those. All right, it's not wooden and it's not got a bell in it, and it's not a
It don't
tumble
matter.
toy. But I got one
it
sat
don't
next to
matter.
my bed, man.
Dude, listen, you know, whenever I hear things like this, because all this kind of shit's happened to me, it's kind of weird, right? Things turn up, you know, you give them lessons and all that shit. There's something giving you freaking telling you to start following, dude. I'm not even kidding you, right? There's the energy knows when you're ready, right? And there's been times that I've been tested and tested and tested on the same thing, right? And I was just telling someone this. The time it changed was when I was willing to accept, right, and let go. And then it changes. Because, you know, if you keep trying and, you know, if you keep getting knocked back, you're trying to push something away. Don't push it away. What is it? And then all of a sudden, you can bring your freaking start tuning in your anxieties and shit like that. So, you know, when you're given something like that, that's something telling you, dude, okay, you're ready.
Yeah.
You know, you will be.
But
And
you saying that is kind of funny because must have been 2014 now was the first time that I decided I wanted to give Kung Fu a try. And I done the thing of looking around the local area, and I was really interested in Wing Chun. That's what I wanted to learn.
yeah.
And I so happened to find there was like a school locally. It wasn't actually within the town. It was just out in one of the closer villages. And and this kind of leads back around to something that I want to ask you. And that's the point that, dude, the anxiety of going to this class was like, this was at probably the peak of starting to realize that there was something in the way of me pushing. Yeah.
How old were you?
32,
Oh, okay. All right.
something like that.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I was like, yeah, I'm doing this.
Right.
And I just turned up to this class on like a Tuesday night. And one of the first people to see me were like, how did you even find this place? Because
Wow.
it's not really well advertised. It's kind of, it was
Yeah,
almost a
best
bit
one's
like
mine.
you had to know someone to come
Yeah.
along.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Yeah, I've been in
Dude, I
that
just
situation.
turned up in a dub, like,
Yeah, dude.
hello.
Yeah, man. Right, yeah.
And straight away, I like got to meet the seafood, and we hit it off, man. He was a car body sprayer as a day job.
No shit.
So the minute you see the golf pull up, he's like, is that yours? And I'm like, yeah.
Wow.
Like, just
Wow,
hit it
wow.
off.
Yeah.
But one of the most important things that one of the many, but he said, the pupil will find the master when he's ready.
Yeah, for sure, dude.
And that, I feel like, also goes the opposite direction when the pupil is ready to learn, the information will find him.
Well, everything's your teacher, right?
Yeah,
We
dude.
don't have to look to a person as a teacher.
No,
right? You know, you situations that you go through, you know, instead of looking at it as it's a bad thing, it's turning your mind, the blower, right? You know, it's turning your mind away from where your brain is going automatically, right? Because it's used to it, yeah, anger, all that shit, and seeing it from a different angle, dude, and then tuning, you know, you can shift it. It's shiftable.
This like lines me back up to the point that I wanted to say, how's the anxiety with a podcast?
I can't tell you shit. Oh, mate. I knew it. I was sitting on my wife. I'm going to get freaking low blows. Yeah. We kind of spoke about it, you know, earlier, but dude, it's crazy. You know, it starts picking up, and it's like that. You know, I started tuning in. This is again, it was something, you know, it was like, okay, what am I afraid of? What's going on? Heart rate goes up, freaking, you know, I'm like adjusting the mic, and it's in and out, you know, it's, oh my God, matey. And then I'm like making sure my buttons are right, and I might hit the buttons a few times to make sure that I can hear the sound, you know, the 20th time you think I'd get a clue. It's going to work. Right. But yeah, matey, but it's weird. It's that there's something that you even know you want it so bad. I mean, I love doing it, right? But that fear, I'm human, man, you know, and that fear will kick in, but it's what do you do with it? What are you going to do?
Yeah.
Right. And then looking at it, you know, stepping out, looking at it. What is it? And don't look at the thing that's in front of you that's happening, that's causing the anxiety. Look within yourself, because that's where the problem is, right? It's here. Something's going to happen. It's going to happen. You can't stop it. You don't know what's going to happen 5 minutes from now, right? So, you know, it's how am I reacting to that now? What am I going to do? And you can only do that by putting space between this and that. The only way to do it.
Yeah, dude. And this is because this is one thing that I think, like, I suffered it real bad early on with the vlog, but it was more like the anxiety of putting the videos out, what sort of reception it'd get. So there was like a disconnect between there's like a certain level of embarrassment of talking to the camera and feeling like a kook because you're talking to a camera. Why would you do
People
that?
going past you. How did that affect you the first time, dude? When
Dude, even now, like 5 years, 1,480 something days in, I
Wow.
still don't like talking to a camera where there's people about, mate.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah,
See what I
it's
mean? It's mad, right? It's just,
Dude,
but you can
even though I'm sat currently now talking to a camera that's going live to the world.
Yeah, right. It's the way to, and you know that what you said right there. You're talking on this. It's more comfortable to you, right? There's something, right? So then it's like, okay, so what's missing? right? What's missing? And the
Yeah, dude.
answer's there. There's something that's linked to you fearing one and not the other, right? The thing you're fearing, there's a link somewhere.
Yeah.
And it just starts like, starts with emotion, starts with thinking, then your emotion, then your reaction. So the emotion, right? Which, like I say, 9 times out of 10, if you're going to that anger and all that shit emotion,
Yeah, dude.
that anger will show because it doesn't want to go there. So it's seeing it.
Yeah.
And then being like, okay, breathe, shit's going on here. What's going on in my mind? What's my thoughts? What's my emotions? What's going on within my body? What am I actually seeing? Is there a different perspective on this?
But this
I
is
mean,
what-
it's like this.
It's nutty, isn't it? Because again, like doing these lives, man, and like obviously before we went live, you were saying like, oh man, like I'm freaking out a little bit.
Yeah, dude, yeah.
And I'm like, don't worry about that, mate. I'm 20 episodes in and I still freak out. Regardless of if I've got a guest or not. If I ain't got a guest, I still freak out. If I've got a guest, I'm freaking out 100% more.
Yeah, yeah.
But the really crazy thing that I've, especially in the last month now, is that I feel like for once in a long time, I thrive off of the anxiety.
Yeah, you can.
Which is completely okay.
Yeah, dude.
But I love it. And I think it's because it's kind of like every time I've had anxiety or what I depict as anxiety about a environment, circumstance or meeting is usually because there's an underlying excitement that sparks it.
Sure.
And there's like that excitement. It's almost like a fine line between thrill and fear.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's very close.
And I've like hit that spot now where, dude, if I'm getting anxiety about something in that level, I know it's good for me.
Yeah. Yeah, you can use it, dude. I mean, that's what I'm saying. You switch. There's this switch that's happened. Because that literally is all about shifting your mind away from it. You're fearing it to loving it. There's a switch.
Yeah, dude.
Otherwise, you'd still be fearing it, right?
Yeah, man.
But when you switch the mindset to, it's like when I take cold showers, right? When I first started doing cold showers, which is about 3 years ago now, right? Mindset, that's bloody cold. Right,
yeah.
I don't want to get into that, right? But as soon as you shift your mindset to, I want to walk into this, it's gonna do wonders for me. It's gonna clarify my mind. I'm gonna get out of this shower and feel like freaking I'm ready to go.
Yeah, dude.
It shifts the mindset. It changes the whole pattern of the mind to, I want some of that, right? So, and then when you look at your anxiety, like something's kicking up, like the podcasting, we'll take that, right? Or your videoing, right? When and correct me if I'm wrong, but when you're about to get on, like I say with me, and that fear's kicking, right? What is it? Right? And it's that fear of the failing or something going wrong, or right, or I'm letting somebody down. That's a big one. Right.
That's a huge one.
Letting somebody down, right?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. And then that goes somewhere.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go there.
The craziest thing is though, once you open that gate and you're like out of the starter's blocks, the anxiety just flips 180 and then it's just adrenaline and excitement.
Yeah. You know what's crazy, dude? I get that feeling even going on with clients sometimes. Right?
Yeah, okay.
Because it's that switch on.
Yeah.
Once I'm in it,
Gone.
Good. Right? But that, and that's why I make a habit. Well, I'm working on it more now, right? is spacing it a little bit, and then right before, put myself out, right? Because then that's going to recenter my mind. And once I recenter and I'm able to breathe and I'm able to let go of what I'm thinking, which is all that freaking insecurity shit that will come in.
That's those tools, man. And they are very valuable. The things that you've already learned in your journey and the things that you've started passing on through the videos on a Friday and through the podcast are like worth their weight in gold. And like I hate to stop it. I'm gonna wrap it up. And dude, again, I appreciate the hell out of you, Steve.
Thank you.
Taking the time out to get on the show.
Absolutely.
And all of the support that you've shown the channel, the vlogs, like, dude.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man. Thank you. You know, everybody that's out there too, man. You know, this is they don't even know what effect they have. You know, when
dude.
You say something.
My camera battery is going to start screaming at me. So again, dude, if you want to loiter around, I'm going to wrap the show up. Tell them I love them, and we'll carry on chatting afterwards.
All right, mate. Yeah, sweet, mate.
Legend.
Sweet, yeah.
But it's been a pleasure, bro.
Thank you.
Well, guys and girls, that was the Cockney Buddha, and if that was your introduction to him, I cannot tell you enough to please go and check out his channel. After I've done the live, I will put all of his details in the description below. I hope you enjoyed the show. I hope you enjoyed the madness that was the Out There conversation, and I am sure he will be a guest that I get on in the future. So for everybody that's tuned in, I appreciate the hell out of you. Have a fantastic weekend. I will see you same time, same place next Friday, 10:45, here, 30-year-old Grom, for another Friday Night Live. Until then, stay awesome, stay focused, stay positive, stay tuned out of the madness and tune into Friday Night Lives, something like that. Have a good one.